Now, it's a story that we've been following closely, but it seems that two potential bidders for Silverstone, the home of the British Grand Prix, have walked away from talks, raising fears for the future of the Northamptonshire racetrack. Both Jaguar Land Rover and entrepreneur Lawrence Tomlinson, who owns the Ginetta car company, have given up on securing deals which could inject much-needed funding into Silverstone's owners, the British Racing Drivers Club. Their decisions come at a critical time for the BRDC, with its accounts showing its cash reserves fell to just £9,000 at the end of last year. Joining us now, Christian Sylt, who's written the story for The Telegraph today. Hi, Christian.
Hi.
So why have they walked away after almost a year in negotiation?
Well, I mean, I think in terms of Jaguar, that's really quite straightforward, because there's, as you may be aware, on Silverstone, the actual site, there's a Porsche driving centre, and within the covenants of the lease of that driving centre, Porsche has got a veto on other manufacturers, car manufacturers, using the track for more than 45 days a year. Jaguar wanted to do that. Porsche, Porsche has the veto, so really Jaguar was kind of ruled out really from that moment on when that came to light. So that deals with Jaguar. In terms of Lawrence Tomlinson, I mean, I think it's a bit harder to fathom really. As far as I understand it from my sources, I know they've been in talks. He's been in talks with the BRDC since I think early this summer, around summertime this year, and I think really he's walked away, as far as I understand it, just because the process was dragging on.
Gosh. Is there anyone else still in the running?
Apparently, I mean, they had their AGM at the end of September, and it came out at the AGM that there were one or two other parties unnamed, and the names haven't come out, so there's a possibility there. There's also, crucially, Jonathan Palmer, who owns the Brands Hatch circuit in Kent. He is now the only remaining bidder, so in terms of who's been named. So it's he's in pole position, really.
Worrying times then for the track. What does it mean for the future?
Yeah, I mean, it could be serious. I mean, think about it, with £9,000 in the bank. I mean, what they're doing, you could say, how in God's name can you operate a circuit, major international venue, whatever it is, a circuit, it could be anything really, but it's major international venue. How do you operate that on £9,000 in the bank? And what they're doing is the British Grand Prix Formula One, that brings in about half of their revenue every year. And what they do, this is not just this year, but every year, they use the advanced ticket sales for the race. There's usually about £11 million by the end of the year. They use that for cash flow. So in terms of, if you're booking a ticket now for next year's British Grand Prix, that's money that's going into the bank of the British Racing Drivers Club, which owns Silverstone, and they use that for working capital. So, essentially the £9,000 in the bank is it's significant, but by the same token, it just doesn't necessarily tip them over the edge, because they do have this money to draw on. The thing is that the money is really for a future event. It's not for that, for events that are going on at that point in time.
So what happens now, Christian?
I mean, I think it was understood that by the end of October there was going to be a decision on the future. There's a possibility that the BRDC, if they don't actually decide to sell a lease on Silverstone, what they'll do is try and do some partnership deals with companies and try and sell little parcels of land off around the outskirts of the circuit and keep it effectively under their own control. But I mean, we just don't know really. I mean, the bottom line is they've got to make a decision pretty sharpish, because every year the Formula One hosting fee goes up by 5%. It's currently somewhere in the order of £17 million. So, there's a big fee there that they have to try and manage.